Hi, this is Evan Williams for Autotrader.ca, and this is the Nissan 370 Ski. What happens when a bunch of Nissan engineers decide that they want to turn a 370Z into a snowmobile? That's the kind of crossover we can get behind. I'm not quite sure exactly what happens to create this, but it's a Nissan 370 with tracks and skis. And it's a lot of things, but it's a whole lot of fun. I'm at Le Circuit Megalisse, about 2 hours north of Montreal. It's a beautiful ice circuit set up in the middle of the woods. Normally for rally cars, ice racers, things like that, but today is to have fun. And I'm having fun, and I'm getting a face full of snow. This car is to show that Nissan has fun, likes to have fun, has fun cars. And mission accomplished. Because getting pelted with ice and snow in a convertible in March might be the most fun thing I've ever done in a car. There's snow going down my back of my neck, my butt's wet, and I wouldn't trade this for anything. To build the ski, Nissan took a standard 370Z, pulled the rear wheels, and then replaced them with a set of Dominator snow tracks from American Track Truck. Up front are skis that are nearly 1.5 meters long and 300 millimeters wide. The ski uses the 3.7 liter V6 and 7-speed automatic from the stock Z. That means it puts out 332 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. Yes, it's an automatic, but trying to shift gears through the drag from the tracks trying to stop you would make this a much more difficult car to drive. It's still better than the CVT you'd find in a regular snowmobile. The most powerful stock snowmobiles around put out somewhere in the range of 200 horsepower, usually less. While they don't weigh quite as much as the Z, this is still a lot of power to put down through the snow. The skis wouldn't fit on a car with a stock suspension, so the ski gets 3-inch lift with new mounts to hold the stock springs. The tracks are spaced out from the stock wheel hubs by another 3 inches. That means that they stick out well past the edges of the stock fenders, although those stock fenders have been cut out to allow room and let the snow fly. Skid plate was fitted underneath of the car. The engine and transmission got new mountings to help keep them in place on rough terrain, protect the underside of the car in the snow. The stock brakes are still fitted, but they've had some rerouting of the lines in order to accommodate the extra suspension travel and the extra space that the tracks take up. Why did they leave the front brakes on? Well, it's just easier. After all, you still need the hubs to have somewhere to attach the skis. Plus, it wouldn't look right seeing just a spindle sticking out at you. Having the front brakes in place looks right. Like most snowmobiles, which sound like a swarm of bees, this sounds like a VQ. Nissan's V6, which means it sounds great. Although the tracks are still a little noisy. This still accelerates very quickly, even though we're on the snow, thanks to the twin tracks. And even with all that traction, you still are able to break the rear end loose if you're not being careful with the throttle. All that means is you dump more snow down the back of your neck, which is a bit of an incentive not to go too sideways. It still does understeer a little bit when there's ice, but what can you do? You certainly can't blame the car. I do want to give Nissan credit. The heater in this car is very effective with the roof down. Heated seats are doing a great job of melting the snow. I can't tell if it's actually snowing out or if it's just from the tracks. When you're driving this, it feels surprisingly normal, other than, you know, the track. Yeah. Look in the mirror and you can see the track sticking out about 6 inches from the side. But the steering's still very responsive, still quick.
Yeah.
Still steerable with the throttle, still fairly well balanced as long as you're in snow and not on ice. People talk about all-weather sports cars. Usually that means four-wheel drive, understeer, and you know, a closed roof. This is an all-weather sports car. It's a convertible that will go anywhere that there's snow. And it looks like you could throw the wheels back on if you wanted to and still drive it all summer. But why would you want to do that? Just go find more snow. Driving the 370 Ski is like being in a snowball fight, except your only weapon is your right foot, and it actually works against you. Every time you hit the gas, you drench yourself in snow, but you go faster and have more fun. That's a pretty good trade-off if you ask me.